Before I ever ran a casino or got myself blown up, Ace Rothstein was a hell of a handicapper. I can tell you that. I was so good that whenever I bet, I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country. I'm serious. I had it down so cold that I was given paradise on earth. I was given one of the biggest casinos in Las Vegas to run, the Tangiers, by the only kind of guys that can actually get you that kind of money, $62,700,000.
Rosenthal came to Las Vegas in 1974 and was a nationally known odds maker. Along the way, though, he had picked up a 2.5-page arrest record, including a conviction for fixing a basketball game. He had been a boyhood friend of Tony Spilatro back in Chicago, where he first learned to gamble.
What is the attraction for Frank Rosenthal to gambling? I mean, not that it almost sounds like a habit if you start at that point in time, but what's the attraction for it?
Well, as a young boy, I did enjoy trying to predict the outcome of a sporting event, football or otherwise. I think it is something that all of us do. I think if you go to a racetrack, Bob, around the country, I think the need for gaming, the enthusiasm for gaming in this country today is so great.
Late night?
Hi, Sam.
Yeah, late night. What was 8? Fuck out of here. It was 9, late night. What was 8? What was 8? You told me the line on the beer game.
8.
If he don't know, nobody knows. I thought it was 8. Well, how come I late night? Because you're a jagger.
What? Is yours? Your pen?
Yeah, that's my pen.
Why? No, it's a nice pen. I just didn't know what it was. I thought it was yours. I didn't want it to get lost.
Well, thank you. Why don't you take that fucking pen and shove it up your ass, you fucking jag-off?
No, I was just offering you fucking.
Look out, Joe.
Remember that scene from Casino where Tony stabs the guy with the pen in the neck? He's in a bar and the guy's getting cocky with Lefty Rosenthal, Robert De Niro.
I vaguely, yes. Okay,
so he got stabbed a bunch of times in the neck by Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
That actually didn't happen in a bar. It happened across the street from Tony's house on that car wash on Harlem Avenue. My dad happened to be driving by and seeing Tony got in a fight with a guy who was much taller than him, stabbed him in the neck a couple times. My dad pulled in the lot to go over to see if he needed a hand.
Yeah.
And he said, no, just get out of here. I got this.
Are you talking about like Harlem and Randolph?
Before Roosevelt. Car wash is still there. On the east side of the street, about a block away, is where Tony and Michael used to have the duplex. And that's what my dad told me. Because him and Tony told me a lot of stories about him and Tony. Because again, they grew up in the same neighborhood.
So they were friendly. They were friends.
Yeah. Instead of the cops only looking at Nicky, they started looking at Green too. And he was supposed to be our squeaky clean front man. So I had to start giving interviews to make sure everybody knew the casino was on the up and up.
So actually, how often do you really fill in for him?
Green's here about 2-3 times a month, and he's busy with other real estate deals and things, you know.
So in Green's absence, then you're the boss?
I serve at the pleasure of the chairman of the board, and my responsibilities are to run the day-to-day operations.
So day-to-day, then you're the boss?
Well, in a sense, you could say that I am the boss when Mr. Green is away. You could say that.
Glick operated as the legitimate frontman, being hailed by Las Vegas civic leaders as the boy wonder of gaming. Frank Lefty Rosenthal, a former bookmaker and basketball fixer, appeared to the public as Glick's second-in-command.
I serve at Mr. Glick's pleasure.
And could you describe Mr. Glick's pleasure?
You don't have enough time.
That's a good answer. We don't have enough time for that.
We see you growing more with the with Argent Corporation, taking a higher position possibly?
That's a question for Mr. Glick.
And Mr. Rosenthal's in as high a position as you can have now.
In more ways than one, Rosenthal reported not to Glick, but directly to the Chicago mob bosses who were Glick's silent partners.
Nicky was questioned in 24 murders, but they always had to let him go. There were never any witnesses.
The coppers blame me for everything that went wrong out here. And I mean every little fucking thing, too. Watch yourself. You get run over there. If a guy fucking tripped over a fucking banana peel, they'd bring me in for it. Come on, that's enough. Be nice. Be nice. Watch yourself.
You don't get hit by a car.
Mr. Rothstein is pleased to be here today.
And when the day finally came, I was ready. I felt so confident that all I had to do was present my case.
Evidence, and we have documents, one of which is a report by retired FBI agents which completely absolves Mr. Rothstein from any wrongdoing. I'd like this marked,
Pardon
Mr.
me,
Chairman.
Counselor, before you continue.
No, I want to have this marked.
This commission is prepared to act on a motion denying the Rothstein application.
Denying?
Do I hear a motion seconded?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
Do I have a vote on the motion?
Mr. Chairman.
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. This hearing is adjourned.
You guys have to be kidding.
Adjourned? What do you mean adjourned?
Mr. Chairman, please.
Mr. Chairman, Senator, you promised me a hearing. You won't allow me a hearing? You didn't even look at the FBI reports. When you were my guest, Mr. Chairman, Senator, at the Tangiers Hotel, did you not promise me that I would have a fair hearing?
I was never your guest at the
You were never
Tangiers.
my guest? I never
That's right.
comped you? I don't comp you at least 2 or 3 times a month at the Tangiers?
I'd like to answer that at this time. Mr. Rothstein is being very typical to this point. He's lying. The only time I was at the Tangiers was when I had dinner with Barney Greenstein.
Was I at that dinner?
You
Just
were
tell me,
wandering
was
around.
I at the dinner?
You were wandering
Was I at that dinner?
You were wandering
Was
around.
I at that dinner?
You were in the building.
I was in the building, so you know damn well I was at that dinner, and you swore to me that I would have a fair hearing at that dinner. Did you not? Did you not? Well, tell me I was at least at the dinner. Allow me that much. Give me that much at least.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, thanks for not calling me a liar, son of a bitch. You
Good
son
evening,
of a-
everyone. I'm Paige Novador. What should have been a routine licensing hearing turned into bedlam yesterday when the flamboyant Tangiers casino executive, Sam Ace Rothstein,
running for,
accused
Bob?
the state's
What are you
top
running
gaming
for?
officials of
Don't you remember
corruption
you
and
promised me a fair
hypocrisy.
hearing when you were getting comped at my hotel, and you were asking me for copies of your bills so you could put them on your expense account?
This was predictable. They would not even allow me a hearing. No inconsistency. When the chairman had told us that he would give us 10 days, whatever time we needed, until George Schwartz spoke up in the kangaroo court. And today he pounded his gavel in accordance with his commissioners. I call him a hypocrite, and the fellow members of this commission, to deny me a fair hearing.
I'd like to answer that while we're here. Mr. Rosenthal is being very typical to this point. He's lying. The only time I've ever been in the Stardust Hotel was with Brian Greenspan long prior to my getting on the commission. And in fact, I rode in the same car with Mr. Brian Greenspan.
And had lunch with me in the Stardust Hotel and Brian Greenspan. Is that a lie too?
Well, Brian Greenspan and I ate in the Stardust Hotel.
With Frank Rosenthal at the table.
You were wandering around.
Thank
there,
you.
I'm sure.
Right.
But that's the only time I've ever met with Mr. Rosenthal, and his statement relative to this being a year ago is certainly untrue. And
Mr. Reed, does this contradict the statement you'd made earlier about allowing as much time as was necessary?
yeah, and I made the statement on the record. I think Mr. Goodman, on behalf of his client, should have been able to put on more evidence. But
and he voted against it.
And I
just now.
Meetings.
The chairman called me a liar. Asked the chairman if he had Jay Brown call me on behalf of him to prevent the Bob List story. Ask him if I'm lying now.
Respond to that.
Did he call my office and speak to Jay Brown? Am I lying again?
I've stated to a number of people here in the press already that I contacted Jay Brown
to seek my influence.
About 7 days prior to the election, because I felt it was terrible for the state of Nevada for a story like that to break. I had been given the assurance that both Mr. List and Mr. Rose also did not want the story to run, and I felt that it best served the state of Nevada, and I think time will prove that to be the case.
But he did contact Frank Rosenthal.
Public officials to try to kill a news story?
Pardon me?
Do you think it's the proper place of public officials to attempt to kill a news story?
No.
Mr. Chairman, did you ask me, I'm asking you in a public forum here, did you ask me through Jay Brown to assist you in stopping the story that's now appeared?
The answer is yes. Thank
you very much for not calling me a liar. We're all so self-righteous. You did find out that Frank Rosenthal wasn't lying about Harry Reid asking me for a special favor. chairman had the nerve to call me a liar. But he didn't deny that one, did he? We'll turn no more cheeks to him or Claire Haycock or anybody else.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Tangiers Hotel proudly presents the all-new Sam Rothstein Show, Aces High. Tonight, taped live from the all-new Sportsbook, we present the premiere showing of Aces High with the Sasha Semenov Orchestra and the Sam Rothstein Dancers. Mr. Rothstein is a professional gambler and the best football handicapper in America. A man who will take you inside the real Las Vegas as no one has ever done before. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the new entertainment director of the Tangiers Hotel Casino, Mr. Sam Rothstein.
Welcome to the Sam Rothstein Show. We're very happy to have you here this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, a man who is experienced as a columnist, operator of 4 casinos and 3 hotels, one boasting the longest-running, most successful entertainment spectacular in America. A professional gambler who Sports Illustrated has acclaimed as the best football handicapper in America. A man who will take you inside sports as no one else has ever done before. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Frank Rosenthal.
Why stop now, Henry?
No matter what the feds or the papers might have said about my car bombing, it was amateur night, you could tell. Whoever it was, they put the dynamite under the passenger side. But what they didn't know, what nobody outside the factory knew, was that that model car was made with a metal plate under the driver's seat. It's the only thing that saved my life. The bombing was never authorized, but I suspect I know who lit the fuse.
Who did it? Who planted the bomb that ripped his Cadillac to shreds? Rosenthal has no answer to that question, or if he does, he's not saying. One possibility, the one advanced by Metro and the FBI, is that it was a mob hit, a contract put out by the Chicago family, and one that could involve his one-time friend, Tony Spilatro. Said Rosenthal, "I don't even want to entertain that thought. It would make me very unhappy, very angry. It would be an unhealthy situation for all of us. All I know," he said later, "is that it didn't come from the Boy Scouts of America."
After Ginger took off, she wasn't much help to anybody. She found some pimps, lowlifes, druggies, and bikers in L.A., and in a few months they went through all the money and all the jewels. After they found her body, I had a private doctor do another autopsy. He said they gave her a hot dose. In the end, all she had left was 3,600 mint-condition coins.
The tall, willowy ex-showgirl was for years a fixture at the side of her husband Frank in the hearing rooms and courts where he fought his futile battle to retain a gaming license. Now she is gone, although the full word on her death may be a long time coming.
L.A. homicide detectives say Mrs. Rosenthal was seen on the evening of November 6th walking along Sunset Boulevard when she began to scream for no apparent reason and then lapsed into unconsciousness. She was taken to Cedars-Sinai Hospital where she remained in a coma until her death 4 days later. There was Valium in her bloodstream as well as cocaine, but the actual cause of death was listed as a lack of oxygen to the brain. Authorities won't say yet that she died of a drug overdose. That will have to wait for the results of toxicology tests, and that could take a few weeks.
Officers now say there are no signs of foul play, even though they first reported that there wasn't enough Valium in her system to have killed her. Mrs. Rosenthal has had drug and alcohol problems before. It was while in an intoxicated state in September 1980 that she threatened to shoot her husband, according to court briefs. That blow-up, along with a rumored relationship with reputed mob boss Tony Spilatro, led to the Rosenthals' divorce. Reports also indicate that Mrs. Rosenthal spent time in a Long Beach hospital that specializes in drug problems. 1 month before Jerry's death, Frank Rosenthal almost lost his life when his car was blown up outside of a local restaurant. At one point, authorities investigated Jerry Rosenthal as a suspect in that bombing. Mr. Rosenthal told reporters that he didn't think his wife was involved, but that some of her L.A. friends might be.
Frank Rosenthal called us today to say that he and his children are grief-stricken over Jerry's death. It's a tragedy, he said. The family is in mourning and will be for some time to come. George Knapp for News Center 8.
But in the end, I wound up right back where I started. I could still pick winners, and I could still make money for all kinds of people back home. And why mess up a good thing? And that's that.
Fast forward to right now, you're managing a very upscale, obviously a very popular night spot, because we were there last night. How is this, do you enjoy this? Tell me how you feel about this type of thing.
My position is no matter what I'd be doing, the focus would be the same. You avoid what I would call the satisfaction syndrome. Whatever I approach it full speed, full time, eat, sleep, drink, whether it's Las Vegas or an upscale restaurant and bar. So I devote all my energy, all my time, all my focus, and that's the only way I know how to do things.